What is human life? Where does it come from and how is it formed? Human life begins with conception, when two cells come together. Two cell nuclei, sperm and ovum nucleus, converge and become one flesh. It is the beginning of a brand new life. The cells start to divide into millions, continuing to transform and form. The genes start to group, and from these groups we can tell the significant features of the baby, his appearance, like hair, eyes, and other. When the baby is born, we examine his appearance to see if he looks like more or less of his parents, and if he is alike of their flesh. The question remains, when does the human become a spiritual being? As we know and understand, a human is a spirit, and when a person dies, their spirit leaves the body and the body becomes dead. Where does his spirit come from? We need to look into the Bible to see what it says. In Psalm 139 it says, "For you formed my inward parts, you knitted me together in my mother's womb. I praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Wonderful are your works, my soul knows it very well. My frame was not hidden from you, when I was being made in secret, woman in depths of the earth. Your eyes saw my unformed substance, and your books were written, every one of my days, before I was yet born." We see that in verse 13 it says that God created my inward parts and knitted me in my mother's womb. Who is it that God knits a body to? The answer is in verse 16. Your eyes saw my unformed substance. What is this unformed substance? What is that yet has no flesh? What is that has not yet been formed? In your book were written, every one of them, the days that were formed for me when there was yet none of them. How is this possible? How is it possible that in the book of God all my days have been written? It is possible because when God created this world, and he said, "Let us now create a man in our image," he took dust and created Adam. And only when God blew his breath into Adam, he became a living being. This means that human flesh without a spirit is dead. And the spirit comes from God, and the flesh comes from dust. In humans, God has put the ability to multiply. The cells that are created in a human body, the sperm and eggs, contain a major potential. They contain the potential of life, and the laws of fertilization and multiplication have been put inside of us so that we can reproduce. But the spirit comes from God. The human spirit is given by God. In that moment, when God blew his breath into Adam, he saw every one of us. And so we all have come from God. Our spirit is created in the image and likeness of God. God said, "Let's create a man in our image and likeness." If our flesh is from the likeness of our parents, then our spirit is from the likeness of God. In Ecclesiastes 12:7 it says, "And the dust returns to the earth as it was, and the spirit returns to God who gave it." It states very clearly that our flesh that has come from dust will return to dust, but our spirit which God gave will return to him. When a child is born, he comes from the light of God, and he comes into this dark, sinful world. And this is the process that explains that a person dies in their sins, meaning that their spirits withdraw from God. Jesus said, I am the way, I am the door. Nobody can come to the Father unless through me. This is the way how a person could get back the glory he lost when falling in sin. And through this door, through Jesus Christ, we can return to God. That being said, we can't give anybody life. Only God can do that. And the life which God gives, we can only treasure and save. That's why every child, and not only child, but every person who has come into the world, it is a treasure in itself, not depending on achievements or the state of the person, but the person is valuable because he matters to God, because the spirit that lives in the person has come from God, and it is holy and it is important to God.